Welcome back to Golden Image Music. I'm Todd.
And I'm Larry. Howdy.
Hey, and on this episode, we've been gone for a few weeks, and there's a couple reasons for that. It's vacation time. We get some time with our families, enjoy, relax a little bit. I got an opportunity to go to New York City, and I visited some record stores in some of the boroughs in Brooklyn and in Queens, and saw some great stores. So one of the ideas here was to get together with Lair and talk about what makes a good record store.
Todd, you and I have talked about this many, many times, in sitting together at work and talking. Wouldn't it be cool if so-and-so record store did this or had this? And, quite frankly, one of my dreams, if I had a dream job, right, it would be owning a record store that sold used music, used books, and I don't know, maybe alcohol. But this
Black
is
light
like
posters, all the cool stuff from back in the day.
I think this is going to be like a really cool thing to talk about, because if we were putting together a perfect music store, a lot of the things we're going to talk about would be there. And that's cool.
So, Lair, the way I figured we'd do this, and just so everybody who's watching understands, we didn't share each other's lists with you. We didn't, exchange lists.
Yep.
What he has on his list is completely unknown to me, as is mine to him. So we also figured we'd do like a tier ranking, right? Number one being the most important thing. And then I think it was through 5. You'll see it here in a second. Through number 5, not so important, but look, still important just, because of the fact that it makes a store operate. So let's go ahead and put these in the order we think is most important to what we think maybe is least important. So I'll just kind of stick these around here. Maybe we'll just kind of start at the top. So from 1 to 5, Lair, what do you think about a listening station, ability to preview? How important is that to you?
I think that's pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty important. And depending on the type of music, like if the record store is only selling new recordings,
Mm-hmm.
that's not that important, because they're not going to break open a sealed new record. But for all the collectors out there that are looking for used or bootlegs or imports and things like that, that's pretty important.
I'm gonna put that as a 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about the bootlegs, imports, and collectibles? Where do you see that falling?
To me, that's pretty important, because if you don't sell any of that, if you don't sell any imports, bootlegs is tough, because that's a minority of record store owners sell bootlegs. But imports, if you're not selling imports, then it's difficult for me to find my way to your store unless you have a great selection of used vinyl. So I think it's fairly important. I would also look at that as probably a 3 or so.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Playing interesting and new music, most importantly, in the store. Most importantly, what's for sale.
Yeah, this is easy for a record store to do. Some of the things that we have on here can be a little difficult. We admit that. This is an easy one, and every single record store should be doing this. And I there's no excuse to me not. If you have a music store,
better be playing some music.
I want to go into a music store and hear some progressive rock, some jazz, some classic rock, and some obscure music from artists that we may know, but we may not know this recording or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's really,
like the new, look at, you were saying earlier, don't break something open. I'm sure that most music stores with the brand new David Gilmour release have already broken that open and have their own copy.
Sure.
That would be something you'd want to play in the store. And by the way, it's a fantastic album.
I agree.
I'm going to put that on the top for now. I think it's critical. It's a music store for crying out loud. All right. Varied genres.
I think once again, I think most music stores do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that that's a critical thing, though, I would say of all our points, that's probably a 4 or a 5.
If you've got a store called, say, Rock and Roll Heaven, all right, well, obviously,
Right.
you'd want to have a little section of this, that, and the other thing, and maybe they're all rock type oriented things.
Yep.
But yeah, I believe it's not super important, but for the record collector, it might be a little more. Okay, well organized and of course separated properly.
Yeah, I think that's critical.
Yeah, I've been into record stores where there are boxes lined up across the wall, and who knows what's in them, and then records stacked up, not like they're supposed to be, but in piles. And how in the hell am I supposed to find anything when there's records sitting in piles?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Terrible. Cleanliness.
Yeah, I mean, I look once again. I don't think cleanliness is a difficult thing to do in a store. Take pride in your store. Make it clean. Don't make it smell musty. I think that's big. I think that's a 2.
Okay. I do too. I agree. Rock memorabilia, posters, Funko Pops, some old stuff. Yeah. Where do you?
I would say that's probably a 4. It's not a deal killer for me. Yeah.
I want to add one too, Lair. I mean, I think it's important that we add one, and I think it's willing to deal. If you buy 4 or 5 albums, and you go to the front and it's going to be, $200. Look, you're a good customer, or, you bought a lot of records, I'm willing to take $5 off, or I'll throw in, go to our $5 bin and pick 2 records out or whatever.
Yeah. I would say it's either, I would put it as a 2.
Yeah.
I would put it as a 2 or a 3.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
Yep.
And then the record buyer club, look, I don't think everybody can do it, but I do like the idea. I think it's a 4, but it would be neat if you had a record buyer club. Buy so many records, punch a ticket or keep track, like you said.
I would put it, I think that and willing to deal is very similar. So I would put it as a 3.
All right. All right. How about clean used records are good too, but when somebody actually goes through and cleans them, how important do you think that is?
I would put that as a 2 because, you're showing your customers that you care.
Right.
And that builds loyalty.
All right. How about live performances or signings?
That is not going to happen at a lot of places.
Right.
And so I don't think it's very critical. I would say either a 4 or a 5.
I'm gonna put a 5 on it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have time to go down and watch a live performance. And like you said, sometimes they're kind of, jammed in there depending on what the venue is. But, it's cool to have, but not super important. It doesn't make the store like really great, but tell you what, it does help. Reasonable prices, Lair.
Reasonable prices is also very similar to Record Buyer Club and Willing to Deal. They're all very similar. I would put it as a 3.
Okay. Yeah, it's important, but it depends, of course, on what you're buying, right? If you're going in to buy audiophile records, you're going to pay a little more for that. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Right. And you're not going to Discogs, and you're not pricing them out. You're going into a brick and mortar store.
That's right.
And they have, they have bills and overhead.
They have costs
to cover. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. How about interesting facts and, information on the record tags? I love that. It's a really
I do too. I'd put that as a 1 or a 2. I just think that is really a selling point for your store, and once again, it shows you that your music and what you're selling, and you care enough to let the customer know different aspects of it. This is a first pressing. This is a second pressing.
Right.
This is when so-and-so played on the album. It shows a lot. It makes you want to talk to the owner about music.
Well, and of course, there's certain pressing plants too that have made better. Everybody talks about the Santa Maria plant.
Yep.
It being like, look, records were made there. Now, I've had some Santa Maria pressings that weren't great, but I have had some Santa Maria pressings that were very good. And like Led Zeppelin pressings at Santa Maria were always, kind of the best or considered the best. All right, friendly and knowledgeable.
That's the easiest thing to do, and I would put it as a 1. There's no excuse not to be friendly. Yeah, not everybody has to be the most knowledgeable, but if you're owning a record store, it probably is a good idea.
Well, yeah. Well, and not only just knowledgeable in the music. I mean, there's some young people that you're working in a record store today. They may not know, Uriah Heep or, something, some deep knowledge, but knowledgeable about the store itself. When I'm looking for something, when somebody runs right over and goes, "Yep, here's the copy right here. We just got this in," and you're the first to see it. That to me is very impressive. Even when it comes to those weirdo stores that have like boxes everywhere. Anyway, okay, atmosphere, some good lighting, some good paint on the walls, right? Maybe some darker or brighter colors in some areas. And then of course, posters on the wall and memorabilia. What do you think about that?
Well, I can tell you there's a store kind of in our area, without naming names, that the atmosphere is terrible. Like you just said, there's paint peeling off the walls. It looks like either they just moved into the place or they're about to move out.
Right.
And it's been there for years and years. So it just doesn't make me want to go back there,
right?
At all. So I would say that's a 2 or a 1 even.
Yeah, I'm going to put it as a 2. Music magazines and periodicals, and I'm talking about current and or old.
To put that as a 5,
yeah,
because it's just not as important as these other things. That's probably one of the more difficult things for a place to stock. To get periodicals, you may have to have certain agreements with companies that put these things out. I don't know how all that works. I know how it worked when I worked in a bookstore, and it's quite a pain.
Yeah, right. I look at it this way, Lair. I mean, even though we're ranking them 1 to 5, if you can do all of this in a music store, then you are world class.
You're gold. Yeah, absolutely.
You're gold. All right. Absolutely. Good selection of used quality records.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah,
that's very important. I'm not going to the place if all they have is new releases.
No, me neither.
No need for it.
Easy to flip through, not jammed in the shelves.
Yeah, that's big. That's a 1 or a 2.
That's definitely a 1.
Yeah.
And then that accessible is right with it. I mean, don't put it on the bottom shelf somewhere. So I gotta sit on my knees or break my back or whatever.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. Good selection of audiophile records.
So I would put this as a 2 because to me, I'm always looking for good audiophile recordings. Dutch gramophone for classical and jazz, Sheffield Labs, old Sheffield Labs, 24 karat gold, DCC, compact discs, all that stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yep, yeah. I'm right along with you on that. I mean, we agree on most, if not all this, because we've been to several stores together. Yeah. All right, last one there is the Holy Grail wall. They're putting all the goodies up there so that you're tempted to buy.
Yeah, and once again, I don't think this is a very difficult thing for a record store to do. Just take the stuff that you get. What the stuff's worth, hopefully, and you take some of your best stuff and you put it on a wall. And that's like, people come in and they look at that and they say, whoa, look what these guys have, Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'd say that's a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I'll put a 3 on that. All right, Lair. So overall, what do you think? Anything here that needs to be changed? I mean, honestly, I think you and I agree on most of these.
I think it's perfect. For in my opinion, I think it's good. Yeah.
When it comes to viewers, I know you're going to have your ideas and your thoughts. Of course, put those in the comments. We always respond to comments, and we want to hear your feedback because we're doing it just for that reason. We want to hear what you think. We want to understand. And look, if you want to name a couple of record stores that meet all of this criteria, well, we're always into that. I think this was a lot of fun, and quite frankly, record stores are more important to me than Amazon. They're more important to me than Discogs. These are the places where we all can hang together. We do smell that smell, even though we don't want it to be unbearable. But there's, something about being in a nice record store where you can just kind of chill and enjoy yourself and then buy a couple of records and feel good about what you got. All right, Lair. Something we haven't done in a long time. I think we need to bring it back. I think it's a lot of fun. Is what we're listening to this week, and I want to start it off with you, Lair. What are you listening to this week?
Going back to my jazz love, the EST trio, jazz trio. This is live in Gothenburg. It's a double disc set that you can buy from the ACT music label based in Germany. And they deliver all over in the world. You can also pick up some of this stuff from Amazon and some other distributors. But this is a live album. It is just fantastic, full of some great tunes by this group. They stretch out as opposed to their studio versions, which are also terrific. But they stretch some of these songs out and really go into some wonderful solos and some excellent melodies.
And every EST, and again, you turned me on to EST, Lair. Every EST that I've heard so far, I mean, every CD, I've got a couple records, and of course, I've been listening to it on 24-bit streaming.
Yep.
It's just fantastic quality, highest
Yes.
quality, well recorded. Yes. Just a good listening and something to demonstrate your system by.
Absolutely
while enjoying
true.
it. Sure.
Absolutely true. What do you got, Ty? What are you listening to?
I had mentioned earlier, I went and got this. I just bought this the other day. It was like $8. Best $8 I ever spent. Not
Nice.
but this week anyway. And it's the Modern Jazz Quartet at the Music Inn. Jimmy Guthrie, and it's got a whole bunch of really super songs on it. I haven't really had a chance to read all the liner notes. I just got this in, but I did listen to it, and I got to tell you, this is fantastic. It's got vibes. It's got, good piano. It's got some horns on it. It's just a really, really good record. Not an expensive record either. Modern Jazz Quartet, well pressed, great sound. I highly recommend it.
Perfect, brother. Perfect.
I just want to make sure we wrap it up by saying, we appreciate all of our viewers and subscribers. I know we've lost some subscribers because we've been going in a lot of different directions and we've been experimenting a little bit with the channel. We just, I know we're not going to be able to please everybody, but we want to be able to get you in and show you that we like everything about music. It's not just, records. It's not just CDs. It's not just about stereo equipment. It's about the music itself. And all of those other things are great, and we will highlight them just like we highlighted record stores today.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important that people understand that, this is a music channel. It's all things about music. Please subscribe to the channel and don't unsubscribe. It won't hurt you if you stay subscribed, unless you really hate us, and I guess that would be one reason to unsubscribe.
Yes.
And of course, leave comments below and do all the things that kind of push the video up a little bit, so not only you and us can enjoy it, but we can enjoy it with a whole bunch of other folks. All right, Lair, off to our next one, and I will talk to you again very soon.
Sounds good.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Care.